What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review and an unboxing of the third and final chapter in August Underground's Penance. That's right. So let's crack into the skull of this review with a little Christmas spirit. Welcome back, guys, and look what we have here. It's the final chapter in August Underground with Penance. Somebody's going to be paying some penance, but who is it this time? Just in time for Christmas, for Krusty and Peter to go on some wonderful Christmas time adventures filled with blood, rage, and severe depression, serial killing tendencies, and so much more.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Eddie. That it is. So yes, Krusty and Peter are back for a wonderful time with everyone in HD.
Look at that beautifulness.
This stinks. Get it out.
That's right. This one is the HD version. Finally, we get to see it in the most clarity we've seen any of these movies, and this is a much more updated version. MVD sent this out to me from Unearthed. Thank you both, MVD Entertainment and Unearthed, who puts these films out with toe tag. We greatly appreciate you sending this out. It's the final chapter. I'm really excited to talk about this. So I'm going to do my spoiler-free review of this first, and then we're going to crack into the review's skull with a hammer and really figure out what the ingredients are inside and what it's thinking, you know? What's inside? I have finally finished Fred Vogel's August Underground franchise. This is the third and final chapter for everyone who has seen it. Congratulations. This is my first time seeing this one and any of them. So you guys have followed me onto the journey. If you want to follow any of the other reviews down below, I got links down to those. Check them out. See what I thought of the other ones. You can see that from the first one, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I saw Mortem and it was like, hey, Alex, hold my beer. And I was like, holy shit. This is some wild stuff. So does Penance beat the last movie, or is it something different and still offensive? I think it's that last one. The second one really kind of blew me away with just how much depravity was on the screen at any particular given time. And I think the reason why is it's more dedicated to the sexual elements in the movie than anything else. It kind of laid on it with just about everybody. This one is a little bit different. This one goes into depravity, and don't get me wrong, there is some dark stuff in here, including a Christmas break-in, one with a pregnant lady. There's a ton of really wonderful, just joyous scenes that you'll never forget. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. And by the way, this video is probably going to be demonetized just for the word usage that I'm using in this. They always seem to be like, whoa, buddy, you're saying some wild shit there. Too bad. I'm still doing the video anyway. I don't care if I get paid or not, but if you guys could help share the video, tell somebody about it, at least I can get the views and tell you guys what I think about this movie, because it's, you know, it's an interesting watch. These aren't movies that are going to be for everybody. I tell that to everyone. If you don't like shock movies, these are not going to be for you, but there's something to be said about the gore that they do in this. There's the guy that did this, Jeremy Cruz, who does all the like gore effects and everything in it, does a really good job on some of these effects, and they are pretty gnarly. They do use some real guts and things in the movie. The electronic saws and stuff like that are pretty brutal, but the main thing is that there's a story. And I think if you watch the second one of the things that they added to the franchise was a story element with Krusty's brother. There was a lot of tension going on in that, in this last one, you know, in between all the different segments. Now, this isn't going to be a story like a normal story. Imagine, if you will, you were picking up the camera for every birthday, for every Christmas event, only this is for serial killers, and they're picking up their camera for every time they disembowel somebody, raid a house for Christmas, you know, including kids and family members, which is a lot of fun. And I mean that jokingly. It's pretty dark. There is a darkness and a different vibe about this one because of that story element that I'm talking about. And it carries from the second one on into here. It is obvious that there is trouble in serial killer's paradise between Krusty and Peter. Of course, what do you get when you're on a steady diet of serial killing? Mental problem. And of course they're going to arise even in the worst of us. I felt like this one was a little bit more choppy. The word on the street is that Fred Vogel was thinking about doing a third one, and he wanted to kind of do something that was more film oriented, like an actual movie, and then mix it with the sort of found footage thing. He even had Gunnar Hansen to step in and was going to play the father and all this other crazy stuff. And Gunnar Hansen actually was one of the people that said, I don't think he should, man. This is kind of going against the grain of what these movies are all about. And you're going to kind of lose some of that audience by doing something as risky as putting a regular thing in. Now, he had just done another film or worked on another film with somebody. And so they were fresh off of that. So that was why the idea stuck in him. But the more he thought about it, the more he realized, you know what? We can still put a story in here, but we're going to do it the way that these other last two films were done, and that is where someone decided to pick up the camera and start shooting, and you see fragments of their life, not the entire story. So you, as the viewer, are piecing it together. So this one is worked on by a lot of their friends, a lot of the fans, a lot of the people that have been, supporting these movies from the beginning. So this was a very, I say family effort, even though it's not a very family-friendly movie. But they said that they had some of the best times that they had ever filmed on this particular movie. And by far, this one was one of their most organized, which is a little weird because the choppiness, obviously, because it's a tape that you're watching or a HD, whatever, it does kind of break your mind a little bit. So you're kind of following the story, but you're only getting fragments of it. So it does feel choppy, but that's intended. That's supposed to be the way it is. Even still, I don't know if I was just a little bit more desensitized, or maybe I'm more bothered when there's like sex and the violence put together, and that part really kind of messes me up a little bit. There's still stuff in this film of both of those, but it is definitely a little bit more geared towards just being mean-spirited. They do add some animal stuff in there, although there's one thing involving a rat, some other animals and stuff in here, other animal elements. I won't say that they're like necessarily killing everything. It's just that they're in here, and it is kind of graphic, so obviously. But if you don't know that already now by this franchise, I don't know why the hell you're here anyway. But maybe you're just here out of morbid curiosity anyway. But yeah, I think this one is a little bit of a step down in some ways. The second one had like really fast things going on. This one starts out and is kind of like, I say, disarming, because in the beginning it's like a love story, and then of course you realize, oh yeah, that's right, it's an August Underground film. They have their moments in there, but it's really kind of the story of Krusty and Peter and how they're falling apart. They've changed. They've grown. There's a lot of differences between them now. That's kind of come between them. So if you like the second one, I think this is probably my second favorite of the three. Like, there's things in this movie that do better than the last movie. This one had a bigger budget, so the gore and the graphic practical effects look pretty freaking good in this one, but I felt like there was just so much more in the last one. This definitely keeps the pace, but it feels like it was a little bit more, just something different about this one. But out of the three, obviously the worst for me, I think, is probably Mortem, even though there's some really depraved stuff that people will say this one's even worse. But for me, I think the second one got to me a little bit more than this one, and I'm not sure why. But you might be different than me, so I don't know. Everybody's a little bit different. We're going to go into some of the ingredients now. I'm going to go and have some B-roll and tell you what's on the inside of this. But yeah, this is a solid trilogy. This is a Christmas movie. It takes place in Christmas, so just in time if you want to pick up a copy. It comes out today, so it is the 19th that this comes out, so you can get your copy now. This is the collector's edition, which comes with the slipcase, so we're going to go over all of that right now. Yeah, so in here we get the slipcase, which, has him in one of the more famous moments in the film towards the end when things start falling apart. We also get the back here, which is a little bit of the extras, just a little bit, because there's nothing but a shit ton of extras on here. And I think all of them are the same except on the DVD. Yeah, I think they're all the same, except the Blu-ray has more. Yeah, looks like that. So the DVD has a lot of the extras on there too, but the Blu-ray definitely has a lot more. And man, let me tell you, seeing this in HD was a very different experience. And maybe that's why it is a little different. It feels a little different to me, is because of the clarity in some of this now, but it is a natural progression from 2 to 3. But we also have the other cover, the alternate cover on the front here, which I really like. I think this one's like the best cover. There's something about it because it's just so dark. Because, you know, you got the little baby, you got Peter and Krusty on the front. Or is that Krusty? Actually, I'm not even sure. That might be the last girl, but I don't know. But it's a pretty cool cover. It does the same thing on the back as the other. We do get a reversible sleeve here, which is here. Got like the Mother Mary. Yeah, that's okay. I prefer the other one with the halos around their head. Obviously, we get the 2 discs in here because one of them is the DVD and then one of them is the Blu-ray. Here's the Blu-ray right here. Some of the ingredients on here, we do get quite a bit, so buckle up. We get the new original stereo mix, the new commentary of effects artist Jeremy Cruz, who I was talking about, producer Shelby Vogel, that's Fred's wife, director Fred Vogel, and Ultraviolet Magazine's Art Ettinger, who's been pretty much in every one of these videos since the beginning. There's new commentary by director Fred Vogel and editor Logan Tallman. Got a commentary by Toe Tag, and then there's a commentary by director Fred Vogel. There's a new editing, August Underground Penance, an interview with co-editor Logan Tallman, the most disturbing scene segment, which they've had in all these, where they kind of go over the scene step by step and Fred kind of talks about it. So if you're not into the commentaries, you can kind of go along with that. There is a new superfan Rob's Underground Experience, because they had a lot of the fans in this movie play some of the victims, which kind of made the shooting a lot easier. But Rob is like the super fan. He's got like tattoos and stuff all over him of, you know, August Underground. So they go over that. That's a short bit. There's a Disemboweled Behind the Bile documentary, which this one talks about how they use the real organs and stuff from animals. There is a New Voyage to Perdition, which is an interview with Fred Vogel. You got a new Dave Parker's Roundtable with Fred Vogel, Jeremy Cruz, Shelby Vogel, Logan Tallman, and Ryan Logston. We got also a new Stephen Biro interview with Jeremy Cruz, which they actually bring up that the Murder Junkies are in this video in the movie. If you ever heard of Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies, well, Murder Junkies were doing a tour again with another band. I can't remember what it was. It was a punk rock band that was with the lead singer, Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. And it's pretty much like the epitome of this movie on stage. He used to get out there and like get naked, like cut himself, gash himself, and do crazy shit. But yeah, that was like a 2000s, 90s and 2000s thing for a very long time. When I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of that. So, but they talk about the Murder Junkies and like how they got them in the show. They don't really even know how, but it's a really interesting interview with Stephen Biro. Extended scenes. We got the Papa Pill, The Murderer Is Back music video, which is a rap music video that uses Fred Vogel's basement, and he acts in it as well. And I guess it's a toe tag production, so they hired them to do it. And they got Rue, the band Rue, which is like a hardcore metal-ish band. They do a song called The Locust music video, and that's in the basement too. I think both of them are actually pretty good, but I think I like the Rue one a little bit more because they do some gore and it's short and sweet. But yeah, the new extended photo gallery and then the new teaser outtakes and trailers. But yeah, it's all in here. This is a crazy release. It's finally at an end here. I'm going to be watching other shock videos in the future. I like to see everything, you know. I want to see and review just about everything, guys. So I'm glad I got a chance to at least watch these. Was I the biggest fan out there? Probably not. I wasn't necessarily the target demographic, but I get it. You know, like these movies are made to do the most depraved, crazy things, because cinema is typically, in Hollywood especially, pretty afraid to go there, right? You know, so these are the kind of movies that are the underground that go out there and go out of their way to do some pretty crazy things. And I gotta say that even if you aren't a fan of this type of mean-spirited type of shit, this has some of the best gore and you know, you can make on a budget that's ever been made. You know what I mean? Like, these guys know what they're doing. They wanted to do something raw and original. That's just what it is. There's a market for just about everything out there. And obviously people love it, or you wouldn't have bands and rap artists wanting to use it in their music videos. Whether it's for you or not, just understand that it's not real. You know, it's just a look into what not to do, you know? Like, nobody who made this movie is like, hey guys, get out there and, you know, show them what you got. You know, like, no. And yeah, you got to give it to him because I don't know if I could act that way for an entire film, you know? But anyway, I'm really glad I got to check these out. If you want to pick it up, it's out now. You can pick it up at any of the links down below, whether it's MVD Entertainment, Unearthed, Diabolic DVD, Amazon. I'll have all the links down there for you to pick it up. And you can also watch all the reviews of the other movies. I'll put the links down to those. So check those out. Thank you for coming by. And as always, long live the void.